Deep in the heart of West Virginia, amidst the silent hills and shadowed woods of Point Pleasant near Ohio Valley, lies a mystery that has echoed since the 20th century. A creature of the night, with eyes that burn red like embers and wings that cut through the silence of the darkness. Was it a harbinger of doom, a misunderstood creature, or merely a figment of collective imagination? We seek answers as we step into a world where the line between myth and reality is as thin as the veil of the fog that shrouds the forests of Point Pleasant. This is the tale of the Mothman. On the night of November 15th, 1966, two young couples, Roger and Linda Scarberry, along with Steve and Mary Millette, set out for a drive around Point Pleasant. Little did they know, their lives were about to change forever. As they neared the old abandoned West Virginia Ordnance Works, an area filled with dense forests and large concrete domes once used for storing explosives during World War II, their headlights caught something unexpected. Standing in front of the old North Power Plant was a figure like no other, a humanoid creature, about 7 feet tall with large unfolded wings and eyes that glowed red in the car's headlights. Terrified, the couple sped away, but the creature was not to be left behind. It spread its massive wings and took flight, following their car down Route 62, reaching speeds of over 100 miles per hour. The couples raced into Point Pleasant. The creature vanished into the night as they neared the town. Shaken, they went directly to the Mason County Courthouse to report their harrowing encounter to the police. Their report sparked a series of investigations, and soon the local newspapers were abuzz with the story of the Mothman, marking the beginning of a legend that continues to fascinate and terrify to this day. A year on after the initial report, more than 100 people came forward with accounts of seeing the Mothman in the area. The following sighting occurred in Blue Creek, near Clendenin, West Virginia, in November 1966, just days before the famous Point Pleasant encounters. Kenneth Duncan's sighting of what is believed to be the Mothman, while somewhat overshadowed by the more famous Scarberry and Millette encounter in Point Pleasant, is an important piece of the Mothman lore. Duncan was in a cemetery in Blue Creek, helping to prepare a grave for his father-in-law's burial. The task was conducted in a remote and quiet setting, typical of rural West Virginia. As Duncan and his companions were engaged in digging the grave, they were startled by a sudden and unexpected appearance. Emerging from the nearby woods was a large, man-like figure. The figure was described as large and foreboding, with massive wings. It glided over their heads, a sight that was both unexpected and alarming to Duncan and the others present. The group of men was understandably startled by this apparition. Duncan, following the incident, reported what he and his companions had witnessed. This report added to the growing number of Mothman sightings in the region. His account, although less publicized, contributed to the early formation of the Mothman legend. It corroborated the notion that something unexplainable was occurring in the area. His sighting is significant because it happened before the widely known Scarberry and Millette sighting in Point Pleasant. This places it as one of the earliest reported encounters with the Mothman. The sightings of the Mothman were so compelling that residents from the town armed with guns took to the streets to hunt this monster. In the heart of 1966, under the cloak of a moonlit night in West Virginia, another chilling encounter unfolds at the National Guard Armory. A National Guardsman, stationed for his routine night watch, experiences a phenomenon that defies explanation and haunts the community for years to come. As the clock strikes midnight, the guardsman notices a bizarre, unsettling presence atop the dome of the armory. There, silhouetted against the ghostly luminescence of the moon, is a large, ominous figure, seemingly more beast than man. Its hulking form, covered in matted brown fur, exudes an aura of otherworldly menace. The creature's eyes, glowing with an unnatural intensity, seem to pierce the darkness, fixating on the lone witness to its eerie vigil. Compelled by duty and driven by a mix of fear and curiosity, the guardsman advances towards the dome, each step heavy with apprehension. The air is thick with a palpable sense of foreboding, as if the very night is holding its breath. Suddenly, with a swift, almost supernatural agility, the creature stirs. It rises, revealing an imposing stature and broad, shadowy wings that unfurl with a silent, menacing grace. Just as the guardsman nears the dome, the creature vanishes into the night as swiftly and mysteriously as it appeared. It leaves behind no evidence of its existence, save for the indelible imprint of its apparition in the guardsman's shaken psyche. The incident, though brief, casts a long, dark shadow over the armory and the surrounding area. Despite the doubts that surround these stories, we mentioned what undoubtedly occurred was the Silver Bridge incident exactly 13 months after the first ever Mothman sighting. On the evening of December 15th, 1967, during the rush hour, the bridge suddenly collapsed into the Ohio River. This catastrophic event happened without warning, plunging vehicles into the icy waters below. The tragedy resulted in the loss of 46 lives. Many of the victims were local residents, making the impact on the community particularly devastating. The disaster also caused significant disruption, as the bridge had been a critical link for transportation in the area. This harrowing tragedy is what officially ended the story of the Mothman. Subsequent investigations into the collapse revealed a critical flaw in the bridge's design and maintenance. The cause was identified as the failure of a single eye-bar in a suspension chain due to a small defect just 2.5 millimeters deep. This flaw had been exacerbated by the bridge's age, increased traffic load, and lack of regular maintenance. However many people reported seeing the Mothman days prior, the Mothman, a legendary creature, has been the subject of various theories. Some suggest it was a case of mass psychosis, where collective anxiety and social dynamics led to shared hallucinations or misinterpretations of mundane phenomena. Others view the Mothman as an omen of doom, linking its sightings to the tragic collapse of the Silver Bridge. A third perspective considers the Mothman as a warner, a supernatural entity whose appearances were meant to signal impending disaster. Another theory suggests that the Mothman has been connected with the idea of a Native American curse. According to some versions of the legend, the Mothman is linked to a curse supposedly laid by Chief Cornstalk, a Shawnee leader after conflicts with European settlers. Chief Cornstalk's story is often cited in discussions about the Mothman, with some suggesting that the creature was a manifestation of the curse uttered upon the dying moment of Chief Cornstalk. However, this connection is speculative and not based on documented historical evidence. During the 60s, Point Pleasant, like many industrial towns, faced environmental challenges due to industrial pollution. The Ohio River and its tributaries were subject to various types of industrial waste and pollutants. The next theory posits that these pollutants could have had a significant impact on local wildlife in the area. Chemicals and other toxic substances in the water could have potentially led to mutations or abnormal growth in animals living in or near these water sources. The most common version of this theory suggests that birds, particularly large species such as owls or herons, were misidentified as the Mothman. These birds, potentially altered or disfigured by pollution, might have appeared larger or more menacing, especially under low light conditions, leading to reports of a creature with glowing eyes and large wings. However, proponents of the supernatural theory of the Mothman argue that the creature's characteristics and behaviors reported by eyewitnesses don't align with those of any known bird species, even if mutated. They also point to the fact that no concrete evidence of such mutated birds was ever found. The Mothman is attributed various supernatural powers and abilities. Telepathic communication. Some accounts suggest that the Mothman may possess the ability to communicate telepathically. Those who have encountered the creature report experiencing invasive thoughts or messages, often warnings of impending doom or cryptic prophecies that seem to emanate directly from the Mothman. Premonitory powers. Beyond being an omen of misfortune, the Mothman is rumored to possess the ability to foresee or even influence future events. This power links it to various disasters and calamities, as if it either predicts these events or plays some unseen role in their occurrence. Psychic disturbance. It's said that the Mothman can induce psychological effects in people, ranging from intense paranoia to overwhelming despair. Those who have been in close proximity to the creature often report lingering psychological effects, such as nightmares and an unshakable sense of dread. Environmental manipulation. There are tales of strange environmental phenomena accompanying Mothman sightings. Unexplained electrical interference, bizarre weather patterns, and malfunctioning of vehicles and equipment are often reported in areas where the Mothman has appeared. Shape-shifting. Some speculate that the Mothman might possess shape-shifting abilities, allowing it to blend into its surroundings or even assume different forms. This could account for the varying descriptions of its appearance and its ability to evade detection. Resonance with ley lines or paranormal hotspots. The Mothman is sometimes thought to be drawn to or empowered by ley lines, alignments of geographical sites with historical, spiritual, or paranormal significance. This might explain the clustering of sightings around certain areas rich in folklore and unexplained phenomena. Physical resilience. Although not often mentioned, the Mothman's ability to disappear quickly and survive without apparent sustenance or habitat suggests a level of physical resilience and self-sufficiency that defies natural explanation. Sonic disruption. Some theorize that the Mothman can emit subsonic or ultrasonic frequencies. This could account for the feelings of unease and disorientation reported by witnesses, as well as the lack of sound when it flies. The legend of the Mothman was further popularized by the 2002 movie The Mothman Prophecies, starring Richard Gere. The film was loosely based on the 1975 book of the same name by John Keel. The movie, with its dramatic portrayal and Hollywood embellishments, brought the Mothman legend to a global audience. It played a significant role in renewing interest in the Mothman stories and folklore long after the initial flurry of sightings had faded from public memory. While the press laid the groundwork for the Mothman legend, providing the initial reports that sparked curiosity and fear, the movie played a key role in amplifying and dramatizing the story. The movie's impact was more about rekindling interest and bringing the legend into modern pop culture, whereas the press was responsible for the initial spread and creation of the legend. Both the press and the movie contributed to the Mothman becoming a part of popular culture, inspiring a variety of books, documentaries, and even a festival in Point Pleasant dedicated to the Mothman. If you enjoyed the video, then please consider liking and subscribing. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.